What's up, everybody? David Lewis with the Catalyst Movement here. We got a really great one for you today. We've got the powerhouses from the Mindset Mastery team who are going to be talking to us about all things mindset, all things finding your inner success, finding success in your personal life and professional life. And they're going to talk a little bit about how they kind of came together and what they're doing to get this awesome class and awesome message and awesome training across the country. So I'm going to introduce everybody. We've got some really, really great, powerful minds, and I'm excited for them to share with you. Alissa Gamble, right? My old friend I've known for a long time. Tara Heinz and Jessica Ozuna. What's up, guys? How are you?
Great.
Good.
Excited to be here.
That's awesome. So tell me, so I've known Alyssa. I probably know her better than anyone here in the group. But tell me a little bit about y'all's backgrounds and how we got here today.
Alyssa, you want to start?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so I've been in real estate, it feels like my whole life. I'm a third generation realtor, got licensed in '06 and joined Keller Williams, which is where we all met. And this class and really the growth that we've experienced has come from a class called Bold that was taken in Keller Williams. And I have taken that class 13 times. And we just realized that there was something missing in the market where there was something consistently talking about mindset as also a business coach. Mindset is 90% of everything. And of course, we can't get results without action, but first the mindset and removing limiting beliefs needs to come first. And so it's really why I'm passionate about it, is it helps people get where they want to go.
Yeah, I love that. And where are you located, Alyssa?
I am in Boise, Idaho, and we support the surrounding 200 square miles. So we've got a big area and run a team there. I run a team here and do business coaching as well.
Awesome. So lots of experience business coaching, lots of experience selling houses and being in the trenches. That's awesome. And you guys are all out of the same location, right?
Yep.
Correct. Yes.
So Alyssa, you have known Tara the longest. I've known you the longest, and you've known Tara the longest. Is that the connection here?
Yes. Yeah. Tara, I ended up meeting her. She dated my cousin and then got into real estate right about that same time. And then she quit her job one day and just destiny put it that I called her, I think maybe a half an hour after she quit. She thought I actually knew, but it was really just destined timing, and got her to come over. And then I was just a solo agent with a part-time assistant, and she wanted to join my team. So she is who helped me start my team and became a powerhouse herself.
That's awesome. Tara, tell us a little bit
Yes.
about you. Give us a little bit of background, because we know you did exist before meeting the amazing Alyssa. So how did give me a rundown?
Yeah.
Oh, before meeting Alyssa's cousin, apparently.
Yes. I know, right before meeting Alyssa's cousin. So my dad's a builder. And so I got exposed to the industry at a young age, grew up on job sites, saw what mortgages were, real estate. I just was early exposed to it. And so I ended up working in mortgages right out of high school and did that for 5 years and watched the market crash and was panicking a little bit. And my dad just said, if you can hold on tight and survive in this market, you will survive in any market. And so I just stayed the course and ended up in an assistant position as a licensed realtor. And that's when I was dating Alyssa's cousin and ended up getting recruited because she was at Keller Williams and would just do constant calls and see if I was interested. And I wasn't at the time. And like she said, the universe knew I needed that phone call from her that day. And so I started on Monday, and I was nervous and she believed in me and saw my potential, which is what I needed. So I just leaned into every class Alyssa told me to go to, which included Bold. And I was at a very low spot in my life, getting arrested, hospitalized, partying a lot. And so Alyssa helped me kind of see the bigger future to turn my ship around. And I say ship because it's a long turn. It's not a quick transition. And here we are on the other side of it, getting to teach other people. And I think of myself as a 23-year-old, 24-year-old. I wish I had these tools back then, and I wish so many other people did. And so that's why I think we want to scream it from the mountaintops. for everybody to know that not only can they reach the tools, but they already have them inside. So it's even
Yeah.
better.
That's awesome. You're so right. Like that's the thing about wisdom is that you have it now, and if you could only go back in time and tell the younger version, you would
Right.
save those headaches and those heartaches. But and at the same time, you wouldn't know what you know without going through those things. So it's kind of we are those experiences, and we are the totality of all those things that we've seen and experienced. So like I
Yeah,
love that. I love that you've taken stuff from it and you're kind of trying to pay it forward. All right,
absolutely.
so then we got Jessica. Give me Jessica's connection to the group. If I know Alyssa and Alyssa knows Tara, how do you guys know Jessica?
Yeah. So let's see. I actually started in the world as I got my degree in culinary arts, and I used to work in Napa Valley in a Michelin star restaurant. And I stumbled my way back to Boise after student loans hit, didn't know what to do. I became a private chef. That didn't work out here. So I needed a job, and a friend of mine connected me to Keller Williams. And so that's kind of how I got into it. But how I know Alyssa and Tara is Alyssa and I, we took Dave Ramsey to, is there a name for his class, Alyssa?
Financial peace.
Financial peace. Yes, that's how we met, like well over 10 years ago. And Tara was on Alyssa's team at that time. And Tara, you actually don't know this probably, but it was like my second year in the industry. And she was like the top producing agent that year. And she had closed like 60 transactions. And I saw that and was like, that's going to be me. What does it take to do that? And so she taught a buyer's agent class. I sat in that class and I interviewed the top agents at Keller Williams to really just get to know things. And then through taking Bold 13 times, like the rest of the gals in this group, financial peace, we've all taken NLP. We just kind of over time naturally connected and realized this is something we wanted to bring to the universe, the world, whatever you want to call it.
And we're all Leos, by the way.
Yes.
There you go. That's right. All Leos, all powerhouses, all have pretty significant success like on your own. Well, so tell me about like mindset mastery, right? Tell me about for those who don't know what bold is, right? It's a very KW thing. In NLP specifically, give me like a brief rundown of like what NLP is, what bold is, and like how that's kind of ignited like y'all's passion for mindset and in the way that it affects you on a personal level and a professional level.
Are you good, girls? Good if I start and you just sprinkle in?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the best way to explain it is we have literally sprinkled in a little bit of our trainings all throughout whatever we've done. So there are some things I've taken from parenting classes that are in Mindset Mastery because, yes, it was something I learned as a parent, but it goes to sales all the time. And NLP, Alyssa's gotten way further than any of us on the NLP train, but she talks heavily about tools and tips in the brain from there. We also, like I said, took Dave Ramsey, so there's financial stuff in there. We've not just limited it to the bold learnings and teachings, although that was the foundation it started on. It's definitely transformed to touching basically all areas of life. I don't know if you've ever heard of like the Wheel of Life, but like physical, mental, emotional, financial. We touch a little bit of all of that through the class. And where bold kind of comes in is the actual foundation of the class is who do you need to be in order to be, do, have. Do, like, who do you need to be? What do you need to do in order to have the life that you want to have? That is how the class flows and is structured. And you end leaving empowered with having a life by design, whatever that looks like to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
I was gonna say, I'll tag in there that the passion really brewed for me. When a parent loses a child due to a drunk driver and they become passionate about preventing future drunk drivers. The story with me goes back to my mom literally drove her body into the ground through a poor mindset and just limiting beliefs that she trapped herself into this body that grew sick. And she literally passed away 7 years ago from diabetic shock and hypertension, which are, in my opinion, preventable with a proper mindset. So I really clung deep to the teachings that Alyssa was exposing me to. And Jessica, like she said, she was in every class. So I knew she was on the same path of becoming better for ourselves because of perhaps parents that maybe left some voids, right? We're all trying to become better people. But I'm passionate about spreading the word about this because you can literally die from bad habits that root in a poor mindset or lack of self-worth or a victimhood energy. It can literally kill you and those around you. And so we don't take this lightly. It's not just another class. It's not just another thing for clicks. It's literally to improve the planet. And we can't expect the presidential campaign to change unless we go run for office ourselves. And we can control our own home. We can control our own mindset, and we can try to help impact our own market center and our own community. Beyond that is kind of out of our control. So we're really just doing our duty and obligation as humans on this planet to do what we can to focus on what we can control, which we've all agreed. Like Jessica is going to have a strength in helping people get out of debt, which kills a lot of people. Suicide is through the roof these days from debt. And Jessica can make a big impact with that. And it takes a better mindset, like Alyssa can help teach with the NLP and the actual linguistics, like you'll probably dig into. And then I try to help with the habits of, okay, we all hear this stuff in a class. We've all got a notebook full of stuff to do. And we still aren't pushing that domino to do it. And so that's the piece that I bring in is how do you actually physically, tangibly have a roadmap to stick to each day so that the trainings are actually impacting our lives. We don't want it to just be another book you close and say, cool, took that class, got that CE credit. Like we
Yeah, I love
actually
that.
want to change lives. And this is when I would normally drop some cuss
the
words, but I'm
action, yeah, the actionable items from a training like that is super, super important. So, and it can't be like a long list. It has to be things that people can actually do and people can understand. That's
right.
very
And
Yeah.
we refine it too. We hone in, we meet each other to talk about how can we sharpen up the criteria or the curriculum so that people can actually digest it and absorb it better. And we make little tweaks. I'm excited about the next class. Stay tuned if you're coming to it for the absorption rate is what I'm calling it, Jessica, the cotton balls. We're making the content easier to absorb because each time we listen to the feedback and we want it to be better so that people come back and become better humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alyssa?
Yeah, I mean, I think this has become a passion project for us. Is I think all of us are very much continual learners, and to me, there's not a destination. I've discovered through my life experience that once you get to the top of a mountain, there's just another mountain over there, and really about being a complete. And I started with NLP, which, if you don't know, is neuro linguistics programming, which is basically the language between your unconscious and your conscious. And the overall of NLP is that your perception, your interpretation of the world creates your reality. And so, what your thoughts are really what is going to become. And so, really challenging. You can't always control your first thought, but you can control your second if you start to become aware. And with all of that, I realized in my trainings that a lot of them were really based. Tony Robbins, even the bold business objective life by design was based out of NLP teachings.
Yeah.
And so I've really dove into that. I have 8,000 hours, so I haven't even yet hit mastery at 10,000 hours, but I'm at about 8,000 hours of NLP training, and in fact have taken I just signed up for another step to go through, and I have another one scheduled next year. So it to us, I believe we're living it. As we get closer to the date, it becomes more and more obvious that we check each other on certain mindset or limiting beliefs that are happening outside of what we normally necessarily coach to. And so it comes out. And so we are practicing also what we are teaching.
Yeah.
And have live examples, typically new for each class, because life shows up and we are all human. So it's about continually being 1% better.
So great. That's it, and I love all of that specifically because a lot of times like you find that people focus on the things that they want, right? Like it's the reason I've always had such a problem with the vision board, right? Because a vision board is usually it's things, right? Like it's a new kitchen, it's a car, it's words like abundance, and it's words like wealth, and it's like all of these things that people create to say, hey, this is the person that I want, or this is essentially, these are my goals for 2026 or 2027, or but what people fail to realize is that you if you already had the knowledge, if you already had the skills, if you already had the training, if you already had the mindset to have those things, you would already have them. So the difference is that essentially the person who has that kitchen and has that car and is living a life of quote unquote abundance and all of those things that you put on there, it's a different person than you are.
Mhm.
It's a more evolved person. It's someone who's learned, it's someone who's studied, and maybe it's communication, or maybe it's mindset, or maybe it's all of these things that like you guys are talking about. But that's the piece. A lot of people stop at the vision. And it's why they never get there, because they never do the inner workings or realize that like I have to be a different person than I am today to have the things that I don't have. And I
Right.
love that you guys are really focusing on that.
Yeah.
A lot of them wanna go straight to the have, and that's why
Mhm.
there's so much foundation. Have is like the last hour of the class. The foundation
Very
is who do
small.
you need to be? One of my coaches said to me once, like, I didn't hit my goal. And she's like, well, Jessica, who were you being? You were being the same person as last year. So who do you need to be to hit this goal that you have? And that really stuck with me of, you know, I was focusing on the wrong things, just like you said there, David.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you guys all like, so we're all on a personal journey, and we all go through seasons of life, and some seasons we win, some seasons we lose. And as Alyssa brilliantly put earlier, every time you climb one mountain, you go, oh man, there's another mountain behind this one, right? Or sometimes you fall off the mountain, you have to reclimb the same one. Like there's lots of, you
Yeah.
know, lessons learned. What are some personal like things that you guys have used these specific skill sets to overcome? Like, what are some things that, like, in your past or in like business, professional, personal, whatever, that like the teachings of an NLP, or the teachings of Bold, or like we'll even say the teachings of mindset mastery, like
Yeah.
have really, really helped you guys to evolve, that you're the most excited to share with everyone else?
Can I please share?
Yeah.
I swear the mindset behind the bold class, obviously we've said that that's a group of a bunch of different other leaders, Tony Robbins. That mindset is how I became a wife. I literally in the process of bold, I think I was like my third or fourth bold. I was in a very, very toxic relationship, and I really wanted to be a wife. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom with a killer bank account and a killer body and all these happy babies running around. And I was nowhere near that. And I realized that I was not acting like a woman that would be a wife, right? I was like going out, I was partying, I was not taking care of my own body, not taking care of my own environment. And so through the be, do, have process was, if I was a wife, would my bed be made every day? Or would my car have fast food in the back seat? Or would I be wearing clothes that don't really match? Like, would I have my hair curled? Just, I tried to identify who would I be if I was a wife. And then I decided, why am I waiting? And so literally with like clinging to Alyssa as a mentor and a goalpost, I was doing things that a wife would do. I stopped going to the clubs until 2 a.m. and I started going to the Hawks Stadium and eating hot dogs and floating the river and just living during the daytime. And it was a fun transition. And it took about 6 months. And I had a specific person in mind who I just thought was the most handsome person ever. And over the course of 6 months to a year, I literally transformed into a person that deserved a husband or a partner or just a life spouse. I deserved that finally. And that person arrived, literally the person, David, on my vision board. And he thinks I'm either a witch or a Wiccan, or he doesn't know if it's fate or true love or if he's trapped. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
All the above, all the
All
above.
the above. And it wasn't until I stopped accessing the person that was being, like a low life like I was. I had to cut those ties with myself subconsciously and break those habits and simply be the future version. And it worked.
Yeah. And I think you probably always deserved greatness, but maybe
Yes.
you hadn't earned it, right? Maybe you hadn't done the things that earn, or that award you that healthy lifestyle and the healthy
Yes.
relationships, right?
Hiding,
Because I
hiding
think
from the
this,
potential.
yeah. Yeah. What about Alyssa, Jessica? What's a mindset shift in your past that is rooted in the things that you teach in mindset mastery that you're excited for people to understand and to really see?
Yeah, I think something for me recently is I've been married now for 18 years. And I think oftentimes when you get comfortable with things and you start blaming, right, a little bit of victim. And so, I mean, I just even recently, instead of keeping track of all the things that my spouse isn't doing right, is what am I doing to, build him up and appreciate his differences from me, and really with me beginning with action. And it first needed me to reset my mindset that he isn't doing what I asked. And really, I need to start with edifying and showing gratitude for all of his things. And that, ironically, has shifted our relationship towards better. So I would tell you, I use it. I mean, I forget about it, I think, a lot of times with personal, and go home and just be me, because I've been coaching people all day long and controlling my emotions, and then I let it slip the last couple years. And so for me, it has been, let's practice what we preach in my personal relationship, and start with me changing my behavior versus expecting somebody else to change theirs first.
Yeah, that's really powerful. Like really, really powerful. And I think it's no one is like no one is going to take your class or any training and come out enlightened completely. It's a path, it's a journey. You talked about 8,000 hours of the 10,000 hours to mastery. And I think you're awesome. And I think you are evolved and, like, but you're like, no, I'm not there yet. Like, I think understanding that just like in any sort of journey, whether it be like sobriety or like physical discipline or anything along those lines, like there's expected slip ups and there's expected like bumps in the road that don't necessarily define who you are. Just because like you show up one week outside of mastering your mindset doesn't mean that you're not on the right path. And I think there's got to be some grace in that. And for you to acknowledge that and say, hey, I was killing it professionally, but personally, I think it could be better. And to give yourself the grace and the pass to get past that season and go, all right, well, the next season is going to be better, and here's what I'm going to do to make it better, without lying in the guilt of, oh man, I was a jerk, or I was whatever. That's really powerful, because we all need grace, and we all have to give ourselves grace and understanding that life is a process, life is a journey, life is the accumulation of multiple seasons. And just because and Gary Keller said it one time, um, to me specifically, he said, David, you got to quit trying to win the week, trying to win life, because I was so focused on like winning the month, winning, like being the number one, like whatever. He said life is about winning life. It's not about winning the week or the month. And that was really powerful for me, because we all get so focused in how our Thursday went.
Yeah, well, I think that NLP presupposition, there is no failure, only feedback. And to me, there is failure if you actually aren't keening in on what is the feedback, what is the lesson, and what is the universe trying to teach me,
Mhm.
so that I can move forward versus constantly hitting obstacles.
Yeah. Jessica, what about you? Blow our minds, drop something on us, something from your personal, professional world that you've evolved in, and you've used these skills and these tools to kind of get past, and something you're excited to share through y'all's training that you've put together.
Yeah, I'm getting more and more comfortable sharing things about my past, and whenever I feel like I got something really important to share, I get this physical tingling in my entire body, and that's happening right now. So hopefully it's helpful for whoever's listening. I will just say that, when I was born, I knew I wanted to be a chef. I knew I wanted to cook since I could breathe. And I did the thing. I went to culinary school. I worked in a Michelin star restaurant. I absolutely loved it. But what nobody knew and what I was struggling with inside was I had an eating disorder that was wrecking my life. And I was 65 pounds heavier. I really, really struggled. And it's like when you have an eating disorder and you're in the culinary industry, it's like asking an alcoholic to work at a bar. It just doesn't work. And so when I left the industry, I didn't leave because of choice. I left out of necessity for my mental health. And I've since I've been, I don't know if you say it sober, recovered for over a decade now. And I think that it started with all of this mindset work, but it continues. And I managed to stay in a healthy space because of this work, because of the tools, because it's a constant conversation. We say in this class, no man steps in the same river twice, because he is not the same man and it's not the same river. Every single day is new. Every journey is new. And we all have to continue to just stay on top of it and stay connected with our tools to get through life.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And I appreciate you sharing that because, like so I'm a big fan of biographies, and because you always want to learn like the story of like people that are considered great. And it's so wild to me the different versions of their life that they lived, right? Most of them did not end up making millions or being famous for the thing that they thought that they were going to do, right? Like and so for you to have pivoted and moved outside of culinary because of out of necessity or for whatever reason it is like that, you're like, this is the thing, I was born to do this thing. Your story wasn't written yet, and at the end of the day the story might be more have not the culinary piece might be a footnote, right? It might be something small, and we never really know what river we're going to get, as you brilliantly put. This is great. I really appreciate you guys vulnerability and you guys sharing these things. Overall, when we talk about mindset mastery, what obviously you guys are more quote unquote evolved in this process and you're on this journey. But we all encounter people on a daily basis who haven't started the journey and are not even aware enough that they are on a journey or that they're blocked. So take us back to the beginning. What do you think is what do you think is the one thing that keeps people from hitting their switch, from hitting that switch and taking the first step towards like acknowledging that they can actually own and control their mindset?
I think we teach on that. Unconscious incompetence is you just don't know what you don't know. And I would tell you about 95% of this universe is that, right? Conscious incompetence is where, like, I know I'm not a good brain surgeon. You do not want me operating on your brain if if you have an issue. And yet there's unconscious incompetence, which is you just don't know, or you don't know where to start. And so to me, it's the first step, because I would tell you, all of us practice what we teach. Again, we look at our wheel of life because, like Jessica said, we're not the same people. And as one area grows in our life, another area might be a little less attended to and needs work the next season. Because you've talked about seasons. So it is a constant growth. And to me, just like anything, when you first probably got on a bike, like I know I hit a mailbox. And by like week 2 or 3, I was like, look, mom, no hands. So it comes through practice. And then with practice comes habit, which creates consistency. And that's where the magic happens, is consistency and just a little bit each day.
I agree with what Alyssa's saying. I think there's a level of, she's saying a lot more about like the doing a little bit, where I would also elaborate is that is why this class is so important to us, is because many, many, many people, probably 95%, like Alyssa is saying, don't have that safe space. And that is why we built this class, was for there to be a space for people to come and feel whatever they need to do without anyone judging.
Mhm.
We ourselves, yes, like you said, we might be more evolved And we've all walked the walk. So we honor wherever anyone is. And we get so much feedback from our class about like, the class was great, the content was great, and you guys are magical, because we want to invite people into our world beyond just this one day class. We want it to be a journey that you grow for life.
Yeah, that's powerful. Tara, what about you? Anything you want to add?
Yes, I was trying to find, there is like a specific quote that it must not be that great if I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was talking about how like when change happens for people, and it's usually like three things that happen. It's usually when they hurt enough that they have to, or that they have enough that they get to, and then there's I'm butchering it. Um, but a lot of it, I think people, that switch that you're talking about is when people are so sick of themselves finally, sick of things not working out, and then just constantly living in their own expectations that are always falling short that they might have never set for themselves. So like Alyssa said, the awareness of what we know and what we don't know. If we don't realize that, guess what? That blueprint that's set above your head of those high expectations, you don't have to live to those standards. You can scrap all of that and rewrite your own and start with gratitude. So just the switch from expectations to gratitude, I think, is the
And
first domino.
I agree, is even just linking us all together here is the B is the hardest part. Is that it's not taught in school. The outside world is all about the haves and your exterior appearance and living up to the world's expectations versus what is in you, and really who do you need to be in order to create what is inside you, that greatness. So
Yeah.
it really does come down to the B, and really trying to peel that back and show people how can you uncover that, because it is not easy, because even us, we were talking about the do, and it really even starts before that. It's who do you need to be in order to do those things.
Right. And
Yeah.
usually, unfortunately, requires something traumatic to trigger that, because a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm fine, I don't need it. And those people aren't going to probably pay to come to the class. The ones that are paying to come to the class, though, have something in their soul, something itching, saying that they want more.
Yeah. What's the number one objection, like when you guys are talking about the class, that people give you when they say, hey, like I'm not, like, not for me?
Oh, that's my favorite because I still get it. And I think I just said what I respond with, which in the beginning, it's like, we'll hear things like, oh, I've done that, or I've been to those things. It's not my thing. We're not the people for that. And it's like the response is like, I have arrived. I don't need to grow. And that's when I want to respond, or I do respond, oh, are you the same man in the same river? I didn't know that was possible, because we're always changing. Things are always different, and growth is important. So I feel like the people who maybe have that response just aren't ready to be vulnerable yet. And we just continue to hold the space for them.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And you're right. And I think it was Tara earlier that said a lot of times people need a wake up call before they realize that there's often a hole that needs to be filled, or a void that needs to be filled, like with some sort of training like this. What do you, for those who are going through something, and those who are like in that dark season, right, of some way, shape, or form? It could be personally, professionally, it could be relationship based, it could be uh, employment based, it could be physical health based. What advice do you give to them to start a journey, right? When things seem dark, like a lot of times people aren't like trying to go to the gym or trying to improve when they're at their darkest. Like, why is it important to lean into something like this in a season that's not so great?
Right. I would say clarity, just leaning with understanding first. They don't have to change overnight, but if they're vulnerable enough to come to the class, they can get some clarity at least on where they are. We do a fully detailed wheel of life, and they do that on their own. They don't have to share the results with anybody. They can take it home and burn it. They get to get very real though on where they are. And then with that, hopefully some relief and peace of, okay, at least now I know where I am. And then we help them with the tools and the safe environment to build where they might want to go. And then we help them learn how to have peace in the daily mindset and the daily rituals of meditation and journaling. So they have those puzzle pieces to start building the life that they want without so much overwhelm simply in the unknown. So we try to give them clarity on where they are and how to get to where they want to go.
I think an example of that too is like through some testimonials we've had since the class. We get them all the time. But there was a gal who was in our last class we taught, and there's a part where you make a call to somebody that you're grateful for. And she was like not having it and saying, like, I don't even know. I don't think I can do this. Well, she ended up making the difficult call, and we got a picture like a month later with her and the person she had fallen out with. And they're like back in arms and happy. And so it's just different tools will work for different people through the class. But I think Tara's right. Like, we help you identify what's missing, and then we give you all the tools in the tool belt to kind of pull from at times when you're outside of the class to get yourself back on track.
Yeah. Alyssa, what do you think is the biggest misconception about mindset mastery? Not necessarily specific your class, but like the more like actually like the pursuit of mastering a mindset, your NLP or stuff like that. What's the biggest misconception?
I think that it isn't relevant. We deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, high performers. That's a lot of, and that people think that we're even taught this, like, you're sensitive, you're this, that people are fixed. And to me, you have all the resources inside of you. Um, you just need to find them, and you are not a fixed state. So it doesn't have to be this way. Once you get these limiting beliefs, this is how I am, and I can't do that or do this. That is all mindset. And so the biggest misconception is, I don't need that. I just need to work harder. I just need to push further. I just need to push harder. I'll just wait till next week, next month. When I reach here, that's where I'll find happiness, right? And like, happiness is the journey. Like, if you can't be happy in the journey, you're not going to be happy when you reach the top of the mountain, because you'll realize there's just another mountain, another human that is doing better than you. So it's really, to me, that everybody can use some mindset sharpening and reminders to be your potential. I mean, reach your potential is about a constant sharpening of the sword on how are you thinking about things, and is there a different way to think about it so that I can get what I want and do the things that need to be done and really be the human that I choose to be.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
Because it is a reality that most people attack their goals or overcoming their issues, whether it be going towards like something of abundance and pleasure, or fixing something that's painful, with the same playbook that they use to get into the situation that is painful,
Mhm.
or to not have the things that is pleasurable, or abundant.
Mhm.
So I love that you're saying that your story is not written. You have to be different, you have to act different, and you can always make that choice. So no one is enlightened completely, and no one is unenlightenable, right? I guess this is the definitely the wrong way to say it, but it's the way I'm going to go with, right? Everyone's capable of progress, everyone's capable of change.
Mhm.
Well, you guys, this has been awesome. I want to close it with some thoughts from you guys, and then we're going to get some specifics about upcoming events and where people can find you and follow you, because you're all like three incredibly brilliant, and I appreciate your time so much. So let's go around, the three of you. So I want you to. Tara said something that's kind of been on my brain since she said it, and it's what advice I would give like 24-year-old me. What's a concept or a lesson from your mindset mastery class that you would go back and give 24-year-old you? Like, what's a concept that if you could, you would go back, and why?
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, we'll start with you, since
Um,
this came from your brain.
I
So
know, right? I would go back with the concepts from the Four Agreements book. We touch on that, and it's in our recommended book list for the class as well. But just those four agreements of really not taking anything personally. I think that stands a lot in real estate as well, especially as we face rejection of people that heaven forbid they not want to buy $1 million house today. How dare they, right? Not taking anything personally and always doing my best. There were some times that I probably could have done better. And then being impeccable with my word. I did a lot of damage to myself and to others with my words. And a lot of it was because I was a hurt little girl. And again, these teachings in mindset mastery helped me heal that little girl so that I don't walk around spitting on people and harming other people. So being impeccable with my word, always doing my best, not taking anything personally, and not making any assumptions.
Yeah.
Those 4 agreements in that book are gold, in my opinion.
You killed it. That was a
Mhm.
great answer. Hard act to follow, but Jessica, tell me, what would you what's a concept from this course in this class and the teachings that like really resonate with you that if you could go back in time and tell 24-year-old Jessica, what would it be?
I think first and foremost that it's okay to be a human in the world who is like vulnerable and makes mistakes and isn't the best all the time. But I also think I really lacked understanding of myself and others. I didn't have like a lot of empathy for or grace for myself or others. And there's things that we teach in the class around like the brain and the way that we think and why we think the way we think that just has helped me so much in understanding perspective when I'm either mad in my own self world or with others. And that's helped me a lot just as a parent, as an agent, as a business owner, all of the things. I mean, I would definitely agree with what Tara said, but that's my take on it.
And we'd buy more houses.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Buy
You
buy
would buy
more
more
real estate.
houses,
We
for
would buy
sure.
10
Real estate.
rental properties if I was
Yeah.
24 again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going back. Invest more for sure. All right, Alyssa, what about you? What's the knowledge bomb you would drop on 24-year-old Alyssa?
Yeah, I mean, I think it ties to Tara because that book, The Four Agreements, is really was probably the most impactful book I've ever read, and I constantly filter through those four agreements,
Mhm.
which kind of leads me as my 20-year-old self. I would tell to ask more questions and come from curiosity.
Yeah.
Is as a high driver, one of as a high D, blinders is one of my negatives. And, I got so focused that I wouldn't really perspective see. I would only see my view and tunnel vision. And I think nobody succeeds alone. So it is how can I understand? Because you really are compensated, and doesn't necessarily mean wealth. Wealth to me is the whole thing, but you are compensated in relationships, money, health by the value that you bring. And so by offering more value, it has brought my world bigger instead of looking first for something, because all of us have that human tendency. What's in it for me is versus what can I offer, and the value will follow. And so ask more questions, seek to understand, and then just remembering not to be, I used to tell myself, for example, that I was not a morning person. And when I changed the perspective of who do I need to be somebody who enjoys getting up at 5:30, it changed everything. And it's possible, right? And I still love to stay up till midnight. And if I choose to be effective in the morning, I can't do that anymore. I have to be somebody who has a bedtime.
David,
It's
can I add one more quick thing as to like why they should take the class?
no. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, of course. Please.
Um, I was just thinking about it as we were all answering. I think because anybody could get a workbook, anyone could go online and learn the things that we teach. I think that the difference is you're learning it from, Tara didn't say this yet. She used to do bodybuilding competitions. Like, she is an expert at habits. She is the person you want to learn how to walk the walk from. Alyssa, like we've already said, NLP master, 8,000 hours of training. Why wouldn't you want to learn about thinking and the brain and, you know, conscious incompetence, all those things? Why wouldn't you want to learn it from her? And then myself, I have a degree in culinary arts. I understand discipline and follow through in order to shape all of the things that you're learning. Why wouldn't you want to learn it from us three? Who wouldn't want to? That's
Yeah.
my mic drop there.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. And I completely agree. You guys all so, and not knowing all of you super well, um I've really gotten a sense of who you are, like through our conversation prior to recording and our conversation while recording. And I would agree that you guys each bring a unique aspect to the lessons that you're trying to teach and the content that you're bringing to these classes. And that's special because you do have to have a unique perspective. And what a gift is it to have three different incredibly unique perspectives from three uniquely powerful, awesome people. And that's one that is a mic drop. That's a reason that everyone should make sure that they get involved with mindset mastery. So on that note, I think, Jessica, you were the person I was told who had all the information.
All the details.
Where
Details, follow through.
Yeah, where do people find you all?
So we teach it about once or twice a year here locally in Boise, Idaho. Our next class is September 11th from 9 to 3. And then we're teaching it again in Burley, Idaho on October 9th from 9 to 3. But we also are looking to teach it all throughout the nation. So we're in conversations with all different cities. But if you want to bring it directly to where you're located, contact any one of us. We all have social media, but we also have Mastering Our Minds on Instagram, and you can hit us up there and we can come to your market center and teach it and help grow your thinking in that area.
Mhm.
I love that. So you guys heard it there, Mastering Our Minds on Instagram, right?
Yep.
And then
Mastering.our.minds.
yeah, and I'll make sure I share that with everyone in the Catalyst family and make sure they have access to it. And then you can reach out to these amazingly, uniquely powerful, but even more powerful together powerhouses, Tara Heinz, Jessica Ozuna, and Alyssa Gamble. Like, Alyssa knows she's one of my favorite people in the entire world. And by association, so are you guys, Tara and Jessica, at this point.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time so much. You guys dropped so much knowledge, and your passion for making people better and helping them on their journey, like it really, really like comes through. And like I'm just so grateful for the time you spent with us today. And I'll make sure that everyone has the opportunity to know where to find you guys and to book you guys to come out, because I think we can all agree that this class that you're teaching is not only very necessary, but it's also very powerful, and that anyone in your world or that if you're listening could benefit from having it. So thank you guys so much. It
Definitely.
means the world to me that you spent some time with us
Yay.
today.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we laugh and cry. It's not all books. Wave of emotions in the classroom.
Awesome, guys.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Thanks.